Welcome to merry old London, the capital of the great United Kingdom. Today we're going to go on the double-decker bus tour that's 2 hours long, gallivanting through the entire city, seeing different and also what are the best things to see. Where are you watching from? I'm so excited to show you London, England. I came here 4 years ago, did one entire month's worth of love with the city. I wanted to return, do so in 2020. Ravaged the world and I couldn't come. All my plans were canceled. And the United Kingdom, until just 2 weeks ago, basically, it opened up again. And now I can finally explore it to my heart's content. So welcome everyone. Before every great battle, there's one very important thing to do. It's to scout ahead. And that is what we're going to do every time I go to a new city. I treat it like if it were war. Of course, no harm will be done to anyone, but it is important to scout ahead the terrain, to see what is out there, see all the little nooks and crannies of the geography of any given city. And the way I do that is not by horseback like you would do in the olden days before World War I, but by big bus tours and other similar companies. I right now purchased the London Pass for 4 days. It cost me £126, which is quite a lot. It's like maybe like $200, quite a lot, but it includes a lot of museums. It includes the Shard, which stay tuned later today at around 6:30 p.m. I can't make any promises. I don't know what the cell phone reception is up there, but if there is, I will be going live as well up in the Shard. But let's go on the bus tour. Without further ado, let me show you ahead. So I'm not sure what that is. Now I'm very curious to see what that is. So hello, Ron. Midnight says, can you find out how early I should line up at Buckingham Palace? I'll do my best to find out the details of Buckingham Palace. Hello, Clemens. Hello, Carol. McGregor Carol. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again for your generous contributions. Hello, Sandra. So beautiful architecture all around here. Just in love. Hello, Susan. Nice to see you here. Welcome. So we see the double-decker red buses. Now, I'm not entirely sure where this bus tour idea came from originally, because double-decker buses, of course, are synonymous with London. So I'm very curious as to the history of the double-decker bus tour, but if I were to make an educated guess, because I did not do the research about this specifically beforehand, I would say it came from London. So right now we are on the red tour. There's only two tours. There's the blue tour and the red tour. The red tour is the main one, where it takes you on the most amount of stops through the central of London. The tickets are between £26 to about 30 something pounds. If anyone could let me know the conversion as of today from USD, pounds is much more expensive than the dollar. How cold is it today? It's about 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Netogeno, that's a great question. But the thing is, here in UK, it's much more humid than it is in New York City, generally, in the wintertime. So the cold here feels sometimes as cold as it does in New York, despite higher temperatures. That is Mound Marble Arch, and all London. says Fivos. Hello, Susie. Thank you so much for tuning in from Edinburgh. Oh, afternoon bus tour, tea tour. I gotta check out that tour. It looks so cool. Chat. Nice to see you here. It's $1 cents per $130 per £1. Thank you so much. So we have a stowaway. Everyone, we have a stowaway. Enemy soldier has breached the ship. Hey, Kel from Philippines. Nice to see you here. Martin, I am indeed live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, all three at the same time. The pigeon is there, just chilling on the bus. Audrey, did you bring your pigeon, the pigeon with me? No! That pigeon, his name is Barney. Barney the pigeon. He's one of those Cockney pigeons. Hey, Barney's a Cockney pigeon. Yep, I see Primark. What is that, like the London JCPenney's? I mean the English JCPenney's? Bradley, nice to see you here. I love your videos. You work where I am right now? That's so cool. That's awesome. I'm glad I have many Londoners also tuning in. I just have, in general, a lot of British viewers, so that's amazing. Welcome, everyone. Barney and Bernie sound similar, says Bernard. Yep, that's Barney the Cockney pigeon. Hey, Midnight Blue, thank you so much for the super chat. I will be visiting in June for the Jubilee and change to see the Queen from a distance, so any tips would be appreciated, says Midnight Blue. Midnight Blue, thank you so much for the super chat. That is so awesome, and Mighty Bull as well. I will find out those tips, so stay tuned. I'll be going live Thursdays through Sundays, 4 days a week at 3 p.m. UK time. So stay tuned. Tips will be found and they will be given. Thank you so much for the super chat. I love the beautiful architecture. Robert says, so nice to see the traffic reversed in England. Yeah. Hello, NW. Love my work. I'm so glad you love these live videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. So I still don't know all the landmarks here. So if anyone that has been to London or is from London recognizes any of the landmarks, do let us know as we're passing by them. There is an audio tour attached to this, but I'm not going to plug it in because copyright. Hello, Susan. Watching on Twitch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Rosalind says, I have had no problem with Primark. That's good to hear. Lots of and way more than you would. As far as I know, London in the middle, like it does in New York, but there's a lot of small. Are you planning to see any shows in London, Chrissy? I am. I actually have a friend who is also coming to London, and me and her. So yeah, I might be going to a few shows. I wonder what they're using it for. The inside, it's just one huge cavernous building. What building is that? Blandford Street, W1. Dolores says, I think I saw the Queen wave at you. Yeah, I'm hanging out with the Queen next week, so stay tuned. She quite did not take a liking that Downing, and it's been a little bit complicated to aim my issue. I have no stake in that trouble, so you guys handle it, and then I'll visit one of you. Hey, Nomade says, ropa económica muy buena. The good economical clothing here. Aquí hay ropa. Quería ver cuáles son las mejores áreas, shopping areas here for, aside from Savile Row, which we'll be passing soon, and learning about the history of menswear. You're going to go near Apple Studios? Yes, I think this bus tour does pass through Apple Studios or nearby. Ron says, why aren't you partying with Boris? Stay tuned, stay tuned. Hey, Eddie Cano. With the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Eddie Cano, along with Mighty Bull and Midnight are all sponsoring this bus ride. Thank you so much. Eddie Cano's Lunch with the Queen Fun. Thank you so much. Of course, I got to treat the Queen. I can't let her treat me. No. Here, being behalf of the American nation, I need to treat the Queen to some Victorian cake. Wendy says, are you going to the tower? Yes, we're going to pass the tower, and there is a chance I might do some video in the tower. Stay tuned. Martin says, Camden Market is quite interesting. That's great to hear. Sandra says, recommends to take treats also. That's noted. That is an excellent pro tip. Thank you so much. I like the blue door. Great little balconies. John, thank you so much for 500 stars. Kay, I appreciate you telling me who sent stars. And also Joe has been alerting me about the stars. Thank you so much. Lawrence asks, have I had some quavers yet? I don't know what quavers are. Do let me know. Susie says, you'll soon need a coffee to keep me warm. Yeah, London coffee is amazing. I've already had 2 cups today. 2 amazing cups. I went to an Italian restaurant and it just blew me away. That Italian restaurant actually will be featured in the vlog I will post at the end of this London leg of the trip. About the hotel and the nearby sites and places to visit. Here we got one of the London black cabs. Of course, some of them are painted different colors, but usually they're black. Quavers are a form of crisps, says Sandra, and crisps are chips in the US. So yeah, thank you so much, Sandra. Dolores says, please treat yourself to fish and chips. Oh, I will be going to have some fish and chips. And I will be making videos on it. So everyone, be sure to follow me also on TikTok, Ariel Vieira, or Facebook, Urbanist Live. And you'll be seeing more aspects of the trip via short video and photos and Instagram stories as well. So Urbanist Live on Instagram/Facebook or Ariel Vieira on TikTok. And there you'll get more extra footage. Justine says, take a black cab. I think I will take a black cab. I will feature it in some type of video. Stay tuned. Becky, are you going to a pie and mash shop? I actually went to one yesterday in a place called Mother Mash, which is located in Soho, and wow, that place is mind-blowingly delicious. I was utterly shocked that the place was empty. It was one of the best pie and mash I've had. I had plenty of pie and mash when coming here to London last time. So I'll find a great pie and mash place to show. Potentially in one of the more old school pubs that are very ornate. Wendy says, let's go on the ferry on the Thames. Oh yeah, ferries on the Thames will indeed be included. Helicopter over London. I will be joining the Queen on her helicopter. Stay tuned. Mira says, don't you like tea? Ah, I can't wait to have more tea. I have not had my first cup of tea yet here. I do like tea, and every time I'm having a good cup of oolong. Which is orange tea. Very slow moving traffic, says Fish Pond. Yeah, so we're just enjoying the vibes. I will be telling you cool stories about history at some point in the very near future. Stay tuned. Starting tomorrow, there's going to be a history tour, and Saturday there will be plenty of history. Today is more about the vibes, more about the beautiful views of the city. We're kind of getting a sense of the geography of the city, and also helps for people tuning in to these live videos, even though you're not here in person. Video helps you kind of get a sense of the places we're going to pass these next 2 weekends. I'll be in London, so you'll be seeing all these. He says, I want cocktails. I saw a cocktail bar that was toilets in here in the so yeah, there used to be these down or abandoned 2 or okay, everyone, bad service around here. Clement says, why is the service so bad? This is literally London. Yeah, I mean, it happens with cities in general. This is this goes down. Bob says EE or better. So I have EE and 3. 3 is on my main phone right now. I thought that was going to be the better service, but I might use the EE one. Thank you so much for the pro tip. And Maureen, thank you so much for the whopping $20 super chat. Maureen is also sponsoring this journey. So thank you so much, Maureen. No quarantine required for England, only if you tested positive for the big C. And luckily I took my test yesterday and I got negative. So no quarantine for me. Only you on the bus? No, Mira, there's a few other people. So sorry everyone, I can't control the service, but I'll be using the other SIM card because I think it's very evident that there's this company called EE is actually a lot better within London. If any other London or EE, do let me know. Have you had avocado toast yet? Says Nina. I had a breakfast burrito at a coffee shop with avocados in it. It was really good, but not yet avocado toast. Stay tuned. Required only in public transportation, as far as I know. Everywhere else, not restaurants. As far as I know, maybe not museums. I haven't been to a museum yet, but not restaurants, not out bars, not in hotels. Ron says, try airplane mode. So Ron, just a little bit heads up for live stream. I've been doing this for 6 years. When I live stream, I basically try everything. Though I appreciate some people have given some very in-depth tips. Airplane mode does not work because I use a native SIM card, and that SIM card connects to cell phone data, and cell phone has to be on for that. So I'm not using Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi won't be feasible when doing a live stream out in public. It has to use either cell phone data. Cell phone data is basically the only way to live stream out in public. John says EE is Orange and T-Mobile, and they've merged to make EE. Ariel in different shades of blue, says Marina. Yeah, indeed I am. Don't be struck with the UK power system. Oh no, says Arch. We have a lot of people here talking about 5G. Please note politics. Or conspiracy theories. We have a few new mods, so I'm not sure if they're tuning in yet, but thank you to all the new mods who volunteered. A lot of people reached out, some familiar names, some not so familiar names. I do appreciate everyone who reached out. I will keep you in the mind when I add more moderators. This is the Langham Hotel, and look how gorgeous this is. Wow. Beautiful balconies. Love the architecture. Very ornate reliefs on the top. And the mansard roof, right? No, that's not a mansard roof. Never mind. Kind of looks like it from this perspective. Midnight Blue says, what's EE? EE is a cell phone company here in the UK. 3 is also another cell phone company, and there should be like 2 others. A Minute in the Life says, how long you stay in London? There will be 2 weekends of London content. This one and next one. April says, what's the benefit of a moderator? To ensure the good vibes of this channel. They put the ban hammer on spammers. Very popular. There's spammers with people who are extremely disruptive. And they also leave and extra information in the comments. Like Panajotis, Susan, Kay, Jason, and we have many others tuning in. Ronald as well. Hey George, nice to see you here. Hello Audi. Any Jubilee activities? I don't know. I gotta find them out. Beautiful street right now. We're at Regent Street. Kay says, "Can we go shopping?" It does not suffice. And trust me, I have a lot of keywords. Not that kind of spam, lords. Wow, this is the Apple Store. Stunning architecture. Oh yes. Let's go into widescreen mode. Wide angle mode. Mark says, as a Londoner, I wish you a wonderful visit. Thank you so much. Luke says, are you walking? I walk fast, but not this fast. Right now we are on the double-decker bus tour, big bus tour. The OG, original. I gotta come back here. Department stores. Wow. It looks like this part of town is fancy. Yep. This has a lot of the high-end shops. We have Kate Spade over here. Later I gotta find where is or was the original Burberry. Wally, send 100 stars. Thank you so much. Stars are worth double on Facebook through April. And we have a stars goal. If we reach that goal, I'll be showing you more interesting places across the UK. So thank you everyone for sending stars. And if we activate a stars party, the closer I get to showing you more interesting places in the UK beyond London. We're starting off with London, but who knows where we go beyond that. Faith says, I'm liking the little cars. The cars are smaller here indeed than the US. The taxis are a bit bigger than the US, but on general, cars here are smaller. And even the buses, though they are taller, I think they are smaller in terms of width. Is Harrods around here? No, Harrods is not around here. Harrods should be in the neighborhood of Fritzovia, I think. Still gotta get oriented with all my neighborhoods, but stay tuned. No traffic today. We got so lucky, ladies and gentlemen. And it's so good that we did not encounter too much heavy traffic. Here it is, Burberry. But I London, of course, is world. It has as long Hermes does. T Money says, do you plan on meeting your faces? And of course, if you see me, hello for a few seconds. But these live streams focus SEO. Rasiro. Ooh, I like your name. Do let me know where you're originally from. That does not strike me as like an English name. I'm so curious. But she says, enjoy London. It's one of my favorite places to visit and shop with the £5 super chat. Thank you so much. £5. 5 times 1.3. I don't know. It's hard to do the math with 1.3. 1.25 is a little bit easier. Kay says the star party is activated. Everyone, if you leave stars within these next 4 minutes, we end up getting even more than double the stars. So it's awesome. Thank you everyone for activating that star party. Marianne, thank you so much for the star. Here. Kiehl's New York shop. And that says, so happy to see you. Tweed flat cap says MDN. I should get one. Indeed. A tweed flat cap, eat a greasy spoon with some workman's tea, and speak with a Cockney accent, all while starring in the Guy Ritchie movie. I'm set. That's the true London experience. Hang out with Jason Statham. There we go. If while I'm here I appear in a Guy Ritchie movie, I will have officially become a true Londoner. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Times Square of London. It doesn't have as many billboards as I imagine it to have, but here we have the statue that everyone meets. It's like the meeting point for Londoners. Piccadilly Circus. B. Griffin says, welcome to the UK. Thanks to Boris. Indeed, B. Griffin, thank you so much for a 1066 super chat. Ooh, 1066, very symbolic. Oh no, not symbolic, okay. Almost symbolic. But thank you so, oh, that is symbolic. I was thinking of 1666, but 1066 is also very symbolic. That is when William the Conqueror came. Stay tuned for that story later on this journey. Thank you so much for the $10.66. Ludo says, who was Piccadilly? Piccadilly, I don't think is named after a person. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about that history as well. Linda is right. Liverpool's a Scouse accent. Cockney is from a specific part of East London. It is what people stereotypically associate with as the kind of working class London accent, though it is a stereotype. Of course, not everyone speaks with that accent, but in Hollywood, people tend to go for that Cockney accent rather than, hey, how's it going? Rather than going for just a normal London accent. So unfortunately, when you see any type of Hollywood movie, there's one coming out soon with an American actress playing a Londoner, and she's also using a Cockney accent. If anyone can remind me, the trailer recently appeared. Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac is, of course, American, but he's appearing in a Disney Plus show based on the Marvel superhero known as Moon Knight. And part of that show takes place in London, and his main character is speaking with a London accent, but that London accent approach Trafalgar Square. JC says we'll be visiting Covent Gardens. Dutch Moss, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. We'll be visiting Covent Gardens. So, there's a lot of haunted history in Covent Gardens. Dark history. History that deals with crime, mystery, ghosts, and the occult. I'm not sure if people are ready for that. Of course, I won't ever get into gruesome details. This is a PG show, maximum PG-13. But let me know if you're ready for a tour through Covent Gardens at some point very soon. Here we have Trafalgar Square, the fourth plinth with a huge ice cream cone and a fly and a drone stuck to it. And Admiral Nelson has been erect for a very, very long time, more than 100 years here, because he won the Battle of Trafalgar, which was against French Napoleon. He prevented a French invasion into England. If it weren't for him, we might be hearing French right now as we're walking the streets of London. That man actually he had one arm that was amputated, and also he had an eye that he couldn't see through. So he was a one-eyed, one-armed man who was kind of frail looking. He was very skinny. He wasn't kind of your typical athletic type. And somehow he was extremely intelligent and an excellent strategical mind that ended up beating the French at their own game. Admiral Lord Nelson, thank you so much. Yeah, mistakenly said T. Lord. Renee, thank you so much for the super chat. Chilean 3,900 pesos. Thank you so much. And George, welcome to Europe, says George. Greetings from Greece. Thank you so much. He was also a very aggressive commander. He was B. Griffin, and he would be in the front line. Will you be visiting where William Wallace was executed? Yeah, he was executed here. Stay tuned. I'll look into it. Este viaje, que lo pases muy bien. Everyone says, I hope you enjoy London and may you enjoy it so much. Gracias, lo agradezco. Evelyn, qué bien que estás viendo este show, este programa, explorando lo. Estoy tan emocionado para enseñarte este país que yo encuentro tan bellísima. So I am so excited to show you this beautiful country. And there in the distance, we got the Big Ben. Big Ben, a landmark that's even more erect than Nelson's column. Para cualquier persona mirando en español, puede preguntar cualquier cosa que quieres en español también. Soy completamente bilingüe. For anyone asking in Spanish, I'm also bilingual. Audrey says Downing Street is coming up. Oh yeah, Downing Street is coming up. I got invited over, got told to bring my own beer or liquor. I thought Downing Street would be providing, but and I don't have any on me, so I'm not going. I'm gonna flake. Shh, no one tell Boris. Okay, everyone, please don't tell Boris. I just don't have any beer or liquor with me. I forgot, and I'm not gonna be awkward and show up to 10 Downing Street in a BYOB party, so I'm not going. Spending time with all of you, so shh, don't tell anyone. The Woman of World War II, beautiful memorial, wow. Of course, women served in World War II, maybe not in the front lines, but they did serve as nurses, as office workers. Wendy asks, Brenda asks, are you, can you hop on and hop off anytime? On this ride, yes, you can. This is the second to last ride, so basically hopping on and off at this point is very limited. If I were to ride earlier in the day, yes. There's one more night tour, though. Brenda says, has anyone complimenting you on your outfit? Looking good, sir. Thank you so much. No one has complimented me on my outfits yet. I'm not sure if that's like in the English kind of spirit to randomly compliment a stranger. It happens more often in New York. Has it happened in other countries? Barely happens in other countries. Random compliments. Usually happens in New York and my native Puerto Rico. It's rare, I think, when you go to other countries. Maybe Canada as well, but other countries, people don't really compliment you nowhere. So let me know, is that typical for Londoners / English to compliment someone on their style? Maybe, but nothing yet for me. But thank you so much. Rosalind says, I love your coat. Thank you so much. Marina says, I love all the shades of blue. Thank you so much. Héctor dice, ¿ha visitado la reina? Have you visited the queen? Todavía no. Voy a tener té con ella después. Right there we have Kay says in Ireland we say you looking grand. Yes, so in Ireland I did get complimented about style a few times. Yeah, I did get the looking grand compliment. Ruth says we compliment strangers on their style. Oh, cool, okay, cool to hear. So right there is Winston Churchill, the prime minister that got England through the war, and here we have Westminster and Big Ben. Big Ben is the name of the bell inside, but this is, everyone just knows the tower as Big Ben, one of the largest clock towers in the world. I think the largest clock tower officially is all the way in the Middle East. The Jeddah Tower, is it? If anyone can let me know. What place is this clock tower? Brian says Americans have good style in clothes. Brian, I appreciate the compliment. I would have to disagree with you. I actually find Londoners to be a bit more stylish than New Yorkers. Well, not New Yorkers, but more stylish than the average American. Say goodbye to Big Ben. We'll see more Big Ben. Right there, Coca-Cola London Eye, gigantic Ferris wheel, and yes, you can ride it. Yes, I may ride it at some point. We got Uber boat that goes along the Thames to Greenwich. Not Greenwich Village in New York, but Greenwich, the area in London. There we see the skyline. I think those are the Docklands. Do let me know. The Isle of Docks. Did you get an Oyster card? Asked Adam. I did indeed. I'm using an Oyster. Did not get unlimited. £50 worth, so I can use it for these 2 weeks. The Oyster card is good, and it's different from the MetroCard in the sense that if you don't get unlimited, your fares will be capped at the unlimited price. So you're not going to get overcharged. This is not the case in New York, unfortunately. In New York, if you recommend it if you're here, buying single tickets is not really as easy as it is in New York too. So you're better off getting an Oyster card, or if you really want to be on the go and you're barely going to use any public transportation, which probably is not going to be the case here in London. It's such a big city, and there's landmarks that are worth going to that won't be walking distance. It's not like a city like Rome, where most of the things are within walking distance. That said, you can use your decker bus or into the train that is foreign to the United Kingdom. That might be more expensive than buying the Oyster card. I haven't done the calculations, but I've read that that is the case. George says, Mark. He has. this side of the Okay, everyone, so every time I come to a new country, I always do my research of the best cell phone data plans. And 3 is known as the best cell phone data plan across the UK. Of course, there's so many circumstances when it comes to riding a bus across a major city with a lot of tall buildings and infrastructure like this. So there's a chance that there might be slow service. As I mentioned many times before, I can do these live stream, I can do this as vlogs, but I'd rather not. You can find vlogs of a lot of these things anyway, but I like the liveness of it. And most of the time, it is worth doing a live despite some disruptions. So I hope you enjoy it, and trust me, I do my absolute best to give you the best quality live stream. And do my research, I find the best SIM cards, but it does sometimes take some getting used to or getting field tests, and sometimes the best in a specific city, and another SIM card might be the best in the specific city. That might be the case here with London. And that's okay, because the only way you can find that out is by doing it. There's not that many live streamers out there writing about SIM cards. The people who write about SIM cards are people who travel and maybe post Instagrams or videos on TikTok. Those are the people writing about SIM cards. So live streaming is a whole different beast. It requires a much stronger connection. But nonetheless, London is going to be way more steady than most of. It's because we're on the bus. Live for that reason, but if it's so super frustrating, of course you can always watch a vlog. Otherwise, we're doing it live. Opening day. Bridge did sway. TikTok. One of the more beautiful palaces or kind of buildings here in central London. Calypso says, you made it. Indeed I have. Susan says, I enjoyed it all. Thank you so much. And here we're at the theater district, also known as Theaterland. A lot of theaters. How much longer is the tour? B. Griffin, great question. Dan says, you're doing great. Absolutely love the London Eye and Palace of Westminster. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you do. Dan sent 100 stars. Thank you. Calypso says, do you watch YouTube Denny, the food guy? No, I do not. Appreciate everyone sending me other YouTubers, but I do appreciate it. But if they're too similar to me, or if they do cover history, I don't tend to watch them because I don't want to get ideas. It's like a painting or a writer reading someone else's, like a science fiction writer reading someone else's science fiction. Polluted or too influenced. And same thing with my stories. I don't want to listen to other people's stories, the way how they tell a history story, because I want to tell you a story that's completely of my own, as much as my own as possible, and getting my sources from things that are not YouTubers or TikTokers. So thank you, but no, I'm not watching those YouTubers. Christoph says you're a gonzo traveler. Yeah. Journalism and gonzo travel. Yeah. Bald and Bankrupt is a gonzo. Christoph. So Christoph is making an allusion to gonzo journalism. What can remind me of the guy who innovated gonzo journalism again. He basically just went off the rails and kind of did things and covered the off-beaten stories. So I guess I do the same in travel. Hunter S. Thompson, thank you so much, Christoph. Faye says Bold stays in Russia. Yeah, that's why I watch him. I really don't have any intention of visiting Russia anytime in the near future. Russian viewers, I love you, but is definitely not on the top of my list. But that's why I watch Bald and Bankrupt. Or someone like Peter Stantonello. I really don't cover people stories, so I do watch him. But if it's someone who already covers history, or mysteries, or haunted tales, or food in the way I cover it, which is more intellectually, more about the history, I tend not to watch those creators, especially if it's in cities that I have intention of visiting or am visiting. JC Browder says, hold on to the rail next to you will improve reception. Is that scientifically accurate? Woomy says, now you can easily hop over the Netherlands. I won't be doing that for this trip. I'm sticking to Great Britain. Have you seen Earl's British Cousin? Says Ron. No, not yet. Twinings. This is the tea shop. Famous tea shop. One of the oldest ones established in 1706. And now we are in the area. This is the Strand. This is where the namesake of one of my favorite New York bookstores comes from, the Strand bookstore. New York ended up having its own Strand, which was around 4th Avenue. But this is the original booksellers area, a little bit further down. On this area, we're right surrounded by all the law offices and courts and everything dealing with law and justice is right over here. I end up getting from an anonymous viewer who wanted to be anonymous. They end up giving me a tour of the inside of these royal courts. It was like the coolest thing. I came here 4 years ago, and thank you, anonymous viewer, for giving me that kick-ass tour. I posted some photos of it when I came here 4 years ago. It was like an inside look. That person was involved in the court system. Tony says, I'm loving these great live streams. I'm so glad. Ron says, have you asked a barrister or a bobby for some crack? Crack, yet again, is an Irish expression. You do not want to say, hey, do you have any crack to a police officer or bobby here in London? Cool dragon. Lots of symbolism here because a lot of this part of the city is very old. This area is right in between the City of London, which we'll learn is basically a Vatican City of the UK, but instead of being religious, it's more financial, and Westminster, which is the political capital of the United Kingdom. And in between, this is the part of the city that grew first within London. Blood Honey, sorry, my mistake. Blood Honey is a correction. Strand is the next. We intersected it, so now we are on Fleet Street. We're on Fleet Street. Strand was the intersection down there. Kenyon. We will find out. Stay tuned. I'll be doing a tour of the City of London. It's complicated. It's complicated. Technically, no, but technically, yes. Maybe. It's complicated. It technically does not have sovereignty, I think recognized by internationally, but it does almost function like its own country. Are you going to Stonehenge, Vince? Yes, I will be doing Stonehenge. There might be a mini live video of Stonehenge on Monday. I can't guarantee any time. Stonehenge closes pretty early, and I don't know what the cell phone reception deal is over there. But if I do a live stream, probably be about a 10-minute live stream and or a vlog, so stay tuned. Wendy says, have you had a Valentine's Day date? I have a Valentine's Day date with the ancient goddesses of the Celtic religions. Beautiful views, look at that. Pablo's coverage was good in Stonehenge. Cool, that's good to hear. Calypso says, please don't knock Stonehenge. Best. I'll do my best. Mr. Boss says, did you have lunch with Boris? No, I have not hung out with Boris yet. He invited me over to 10 Downing, said to bring my own beer or liquor. I don't have any on me, so I'm kind of flaking. I'm flaking on Boris. It'll be a bit awkward to show up to 10 Downing empty-handed. Calypso says, are you going to Bath? I will be indeed going to Bath. There will be a video of Bath. Hey.
We're going to be on a diversion.
Okay.
Because there is some protest or some traffic at Tower Bridge.
Oh yeah.
So we won't be able to go through the bridge like we normally do. We'll be going over London Bridge, so you'll get a view of the Tower Bridge on your left, but we won't be going where we normally go. We'll be turning right and heading back.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah, no worries.
So that you know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's very typical London, ladies and gentlemen, or England. Of course, this applies to many countries, but basically he said that there is a protest going on of sorts and we'll be going on a diversion. Protest is not typical England, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's more associated with where we visited Greece or France, for example. But what is very typical English is the fact that he came up and very politely told everyone here about that. And there's a few people on the bus, so he told everyone about that, the diversion, in a very polite way. In the US, either they would say on the speakerphone or it would just go on the diversion. They won't tell you. So that is, I think, a cultural difference between English and American. American, they kind of just do it anyway. It won't really tell you. Maybe they just put a posting or something. But here, they'll tell you politely. Rachel says there's always a protest somewhere in London. Oh. This scared. He did. Susan says no one's telling you anything in the US. Yep. In the US, no one ain't telling you anything. So here's the famous St. Paul's Cathedral. Built by Christopher Wren. 1666, which we'll learn about soon as well. This entire live stream is all teaser for a lot of videos to come. Can we go to St. Paul's? Yeah, I'll be doing a video at St. Paul's. Stay tuned. So London is a very big town. I won't be able to do everything. London is as big as New York. And of course, you know, I did already like 2,000 videos in New York alone. And London is even more dense with history. New York only goes back to about the 1600s in terms of written history. Of course, there will not be Native Americans before then, but there was not really any major cities or anything like that. But here, there's been a major city in London for 2,000 years since the ancient Romans. So there's a whole lot of history, not just with Romans, but also going back even further with the Neolithic, the Celts, and then also the Anglo-Saxons and the Normans and the Vikings and the Britons. There are a whole lot of history. So there's so much here to do in London. It will be impossible for me to do everything, but there will be plenty of stuff we'll be covering. So do stay tuned. Oh, nothing. We'll find out. We will actually touch London to 2,000 years ago. That'll be the City of London broadcast this weekend. Right here we have the Bracken House. I don't know anything about this, but this is very interesting. What is the Bracken House? If anyone can find out, because there's a zodiac in front, there's a sun sign in front as well. Really interesting architecture. Look at that. Really interesting architecture. What is this? London also has a lot of occult history, which is fascinating. Blood Honey says the Bracken House is office building with a fancy clock. There's more to this story. There's more to this story. Rachel says never noticed the decoration on the Bracken House. I've visited, I don't know, like 15 countries, maybe a little bit less. Between 10 to 15 countries at this point on Urbanist. Many cities, upwards of 20 cities at this point. Symbols like that, there's more to the story. Very rarely it's just done because someone found the zodiac to be cool looking. There's a little bit more to the story, especially in a major office building. I'm not sure what. It could be just an office building, but there's more to the story of Bracken maybe, or to the people who constructed it, or to the firm that owns it, the developers that own it. There's more to this story. Definitely. This is not just a random happenstance. No one just thought to themselves, oh, this kind of just looks pretty. Especially when using that type of symbology. And I've learned that when covering a whole lot of history. Susie says, cool, let's ask MI5, which is, do let me know what's the difference. MI5 and MI6. There's the Secret Service and there is the CIA. I think MI6 is the CIA. MI5 is the Secret Service or the FBI. Do let me know. Wow. This Bracken House, gorgeous architecture. Look at that. Thank you so much. We got Joe Googling. Thank you so much, or already knowing it. Above the entrance of the Kennan Street is an astrological clock designed by Frank Dobson and Philip Bentham and made by Thwaites and Reed. Pardon any mispronunciation. Some of these English names I don't frequently encounter. The clock features the face of Winston Churchill at the center of the large gold sunburst. Churchill having been a great friend. Ah, nice. Thank you so much. Friend of the Viscount Bracken, who founded the FT. There you go. That's the story. Thank you so much. So, Bracken. Wow. So here we're approaching the skyline of London. Wendy said, cool. I love London. One of the main reasons is the combination of historical architecture and modern architecture blended in seamlessly together. And then you have, of course, major roadways, but within those major roadways, between them, you have these walkways or alleyways. George says, when do we see a meat pie? Stay tuned. I'll be covering Borough Market. That's when the meat pies will be featured. Thursdays to Sundays. I don't make a set itinerary, ladies and gentlemen. I only plan maybe a few day trips, and I plan the legs of my trip sometimes. But other than that, I really don't make a set itinerary. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. which is a good way to travel in my opinion. Anna with the $10 super chat. Anna, thank you so much. I appreciate it. With the $10 super chat. That's so kind of you, Anna. A bit of Fry and Laurie. Great show. Great comedy duo. I love the clips I've seen online. Fry and Laurie. Do check them out. Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie is his first name, I think. Hugh Laurie. Really funny duo. Susie says, keep your pants on, it's cold. Yeah, indeed. Okay, so speaking of the cold, London has a wind problem. And no, it's not winds because people are eating too many meat pies. No, it's not that. Maybe, but that's a different wind problem. It has an architectural wind problem. London is not really a windy city. New York is more windy, as far as I know, than London. Ireland is definitely more windy than London. Chicago, I think, is more windy than London. But London built these skyscrapers in a place that has no grid system. Because New York has a grid system, most of the wind isn't too bad in New York. But when you start gathering a whole lot of skyscrapers all together, there's issues. Wind canyons and wind vortices start. And in the city of London, right over here in that skyline, is among the windiest places in London, not because of the geography, but because of the architecture. And okay, cool. MB Griffith says because of the diet too. I mean, there might be, the wind issue might be multifaceted. All right, let's go on the other side of the bus. Over here. Patty says, so not boring. Always good to see another place because I've never been here. Joe says, another great tidbit by Ariel. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Ida says, how are you? Ida, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Now, pro tip, ladies and gentlemen. This is very important. Here in England, don't ask, how are you? Because people might think you're genuinely trying to find out how they feel, and they might think you're concerned about them. Because American, how are you, is rhetorical. It's not meant to be really responded, or you just say, I'm fine, I'm good. It's not really meant to have a full answer. It's not really meant usually out of concern, unless if you say, how are you? But here in the UK, it's more, are you all right? And every time I hear, you all right? Are you all right? As an American, at first coming to London, I thought I was self-conscious when people asked me that. When they greeted me with that, because I thought I was like, yeah, I'm all right. Do I look not all right? And I would have these random Londoners when I first came to London. It was like, yeah, okay, yeah, good. They would look at me weird. We feel like, yeah, like I'm all right. They would look at me weird. I realized, oh, are you all right? Is like, how are you? How's it going? And the American equivalent is, how's it going? In London, it's, are you all right? But really, are you all right, mate? George says, have you heard someone yell wanker? Yeah, no, not yet. I have not heard the word wanker, not once yet. Oh, well, I have. Catherine says, "How you doing?" How you doing is also very American. So yeah, I don't think they use "how you doing" here as often. I think "are you alright" is more common. Unlike in Ireland, where it's "hey, how's it going?" Have I heard wanker yet? Not in person, but I did do the mistake. Or actually, it was not a mistake. It was actually a hilarious time watching British news. I don't know what they do. I'm not going to get into any politics, but looking at the House of Parliament, or where the different heads of state or the heads of the government here, not the heads of state, but the heads of the government here, when they're discussing in that room, they're hilarious. I mean, I don't know, I'm not talking about any politics. I understand they're very serious issues. I understand it is very serious business. But as an outsider, with no context whatsoever, I really don't look into politics. When I watched the news last night, I thought to myself, this is way more hilarious than American political gatherings. So I heard the term wanker be used in the House of Commons. Thank you so much, DMOC. In the House of Commons. The term wanker was used in the House of Commons. You would not hear the American equivalent of wanker in American politics. No one in the House of Senate or House of Representatives is going to say you're a dumbass or you're a dick. No one's going to say that. So very interesting difference. Very interesting difference. Fevos is doing the more Londoner way. So you're right, bruv. And someone said, "What's up?" What's up? Also very American, very New York. Wanker is not as offensive in the UK. Okay, good to know. My favorite, the right honorable gentleman before admonishing the other person, says JF. Can we see the Queen, says Ida. Yeah, stay tuned. Laureen learned a new word. Yeah, instead of bro, like, how you doing, bro? Or brah, if you're from the West Coast. Here in England, it's bruv. You alright, bruv? Alright, bruv. Where you from, bruv? Catherine says, tested positive for the big C. Oh no. Make you feel better. Adam says, I think you need a reason before visiting the Queen. The Queen might summon me. Adam. Rebel says, you can't be a British Prime Minister and not be able to verbally defend your positions or debate. You can be a president and almost never explain yourself, says Rebel. Indeed, yeah. If history is any indicator, presidents generally are not meant to debate constantly, unlike here in the UK. There's more of a culture of debate here than there is in America. Catherine says, I'm going to receive a letter soon saying, Ariel, my subject, I summon you. Wendy says that the letter might also say, Ariel, off with your head. The queen luckily is nice. She's a nice queen. Why is the bus not moving? Well, George, all around the world, in the most distant lands, in the places we call home, there are streets in our cities, and on these streets, thousands upon thousands of cars roam around. And no matter how wide or big you design these streets, there will always be a concept called traffic. Bottlenecks will occur due to the very course of human nature. George, that is why the bus is not moving, because of traffic. Chrissy W says, just get off the bus. You'll be seen off the bus. Well, I'll be going off the bus tomorrow. Stay tuned. One more thing. Around 6:30 p.m. or so, there might be a live on top one of the best views in London. I can't make guarantees because I don't know the cell phone situation. But if there is good cell phone service, I'll be showing you a great view of the city at around 6:30. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We only have one more stop left. Is it faster to walk? Kind of not. London is a pretty huge city, and we're gonna go to a place that I think walking would take us another like 30 minutes. Oh yeah, so everyone, 6:30 p.m. London time, UK time. BA says, are you visiting Oxford Street? Oxford Street will be shown at some point. I feel like Bond is about to run out of the corner, says Rebel. Judith says, are you going on the blue line? No, I'll only be doing red for this bus tour. This is the second to last bus tour, so if I get off even now, I still won't be able to do the blue line. So only one bus tour today. So Judah is referring to the other line of the big bus tours. So there's the red line, that's the main line, that's the longest one. And there's the blue line that goes a little bit farther out into the other parts of London. Irene says, if no cell phone service, take photos. Yes. If there's no cell phone service, I'll take photos and a short video. Wendy says, I'm thirsty. Me too. I already drank my entire bottle of water. Will you see any West End shows, SBA? Yeah, there's a chance I'll be seeing West End shows. I have a friend who's joining me for part of my trip. And that particular friend loves theater. So there's a chance I might see a show or two. And if I do, and if there's cell phone reception in the theater, I'll be showing you in the theater. Do they talk on these these big bus tours? Asked Patty. Great question. Not on the big bus tour. There's no someone talking. There is here. They have headphones for free downstairs, and you can plug in and listen to a pre-recorded tour. There are a few other double-decker bus tours here. I saw one that was about afternoon tea. There was one that was really cool. It was a restaurant on a double-decker bus. The coolest thing I saw. I might look into those and see if I can show them. B. Griffin says 6:30 p.m. London time is 1:30 p.m. New York time. Thank you so much. Right there is a shard. Blood says, does no one care about the monument? I'll be talking more about the monuments when I walk around. Ooh, owls. We got some owls. Do you know Warner Brothers Studios is right outside? Yep, in Watford. And here we have the walkie-talkie building. This building melted a Jaguar because its concave architecture caused a laser beam on a super sunny day that hit a parked Jaguar on the street curb and it melted. Literally, I'm not joking. Here's the monument to the Great Fire of London, or in remembrance of the people who lost their lives in the Great Fire of London. We'll be walking there later. Ariel Vera sent $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Ariel Vera. Right there we have Ariel Vera is the executive producer of my car tours. My dad. Thank you so much for tuning in. Right there is Tower Bridge. And we got the portal to the other dimension, which is the shard. So everyone, my dad is tuning in. He also has the same name as me. And no, he's not driving the bus right now. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Hope you're doing well. HMS Belfast, we did pass by it, yes. HMS Belfast, famous for being used in World War II. And I have a full tour of the HMS Belfast. Right now it's closed, but I have a full tour available on YouTube. Search HMS Belfast Urbanist, and you'll see it. Full tour. Send 99 stars. Thank you so much in the Ralph. I appreciate you. Nomás dice qué lindo paseo. Sí, un paseo bien bonito. Nomás says what a beautiful trip. So here we have the Thames Link, one of the railroads here in London. There's a lot of railroad networks here. It's not like New York where you really only have 4 networks. In London you have way more than that. You have light rail, trams, you have buses, you have the underground, which is the equivalent of the subway. You have commuter rails, a lot of them. You have the overground, which is a transit system that connects the different suburbs of London together. And you have the Thames Link, and you have all these other railroads that lead to the rest of the country. P says, do you ever get anxiety when traveling? Depends on the country. Here, no. Because luckily I know the language. No matter how different some terminology might be, I know English. Second factor is London is a very easy city to travel to. So if anyone has ever been nervous about traveling and you're an English speaker, London is by far among the easiest cities to travel. It is generally safe all around the central area of London. You won't really encounter unsafe areas because there's not that many touristy sites in the area. It's like a super metro card because it works for a lot more things. And then beyond that, we got in Ireland in that way. And the friendly If you're wondering why do I show the clouds, besides the clouds looking pretty, who is actually a IT person, really long explanation that was really epic. No, it's not gonna work. Of Manhattan below 96. Everyone, there is service issues on the street. It is weird on these kind of tall buildings. There's bad service. The reason I point the camera up on clouds doesn't have too much visual information. The service. John on Facebook, let's keep the topics only to travel, city, history, food, and architecture, all in the travel context, but it's history. Hyde says this is an important time in history for England. I've heard that, Hyde, from a few other people. I'm very curious, Hyde. What is your perception of England being such a focus of global change? I'm very curious as to why, because there's another person out there. Her name is Teal Swan. She is a spiritual teacher. And she has mentioned many times that England or the UK overall has been kind of a focus point of energy. Of course, this is not based on anything logical or intellectual or on actual politics or history, but people. Intuition has said that UK has been a center point for global change. I'm not sure why. I'm very curious. So they have a lot of languages. Oh, sorry everyone, hard to focus. There we go. They have a lot of languages for the audio guide. English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, Chinese, might be Mandarin, most likely Mandarin, Korean, Brazilian, Japanese, and I don't recognize the other ones. I think the last one might be Philippines, but yeah, there's a few others. Judith says, are you dining with us? No, but I'll be doing a bonus live stream around 6:30 p.m. Stay tuned. 2,700 stars sent so far. Yes, and stars are doubled. Thank you so much, everyone, for the two. Extensively before for a month. Extensive in the traveler's context, of course. Nowhere near as extensive of knowledge of an actual local or someone who dedicates themselves to London history. There's a few awesome content creators out there who do that. But as a traveler, I've had extensive experience here. So feel free to ask me anything from my perspective as a traveler. Another thing I really enjoy about London is, in terms of its architecture and infrastructure, is that architecture is blended into the infrastructure. So generally you won't see this in New York, where you have a building that is built on top of a train rail. Very rare that happens in New York City. They don't utilize space that efficiently. Unless if you're talking, of course, about Grand Central or Penn Station, where everything is underground. But for the overgrounds, you don't see this in Long Island, you don't see this up in the Bronx too much, or through the train tracks of Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. No. Also, when you head up further north or even New Jersey. It's very rare. So yeah, all restrictions are lifted on February 11th. It says you should meet up. Now it's getting cold. Joe, we passed Piccadilly Circus earlier, but I will indeed be walking through it as well. Here's the IMAX theater. BFI IMAX theater. I heard it used to be the largest IMAX theater, but it has been bested by a whole lot of theaters built in Asia. And then there's one mega one also in Germany now. Is the sun going down? Yes, it is indeed. Wendy is mentioning all these amazing foods, Wendy. It all sounds amazing. Can't wait for some mushy peas, some bangers and mashers. George, I'm using right now 3 UK.